Shalom, and welcome to Light of the Hill Ministries. In today's teaching, we will be continuing on our study of Genesis. If you want to follow along, I will be posting this in the comment box below. Now, come to the teaching. Noah was a righteous man, perfect in his generation. Noah walked with Elohim. Genesis 6, verse 9. The Hebrew word that is used here for walk is halak, Strong's number H1980, which means to walk, to live, manner of life, cause to live, and literally speaks of how one lives. It is used as a verb indicating that it is an active expression of one's life. It also carries the meaning to go, to walk, come, proceed, depart, move, go away, to die, live, manner of life figuratively. The ancient pictographic script of this word looks like this. Hey is the first letter of the Hebrew and is pictured as a man standing with his arms raised out. The meaning of the letter is behold, look, breathe, sigh, and reveal or revelation, from the idea of revealing a great sight by pointing it out. It also carries for us the meaning of surrender as we lift up our hands and submit to Yahweh in praise, declaring his authority under which we humbly submit. Lamed or Lamad is the next letter in Halak and is pictured as a shepherd's staff and can give the meaning of to or toward and can represent that which pushes or pulls a flock in a direction. It can speak of authority or a yoke that is used to lead and guide, as well as the ability to bring back by authority. Kaf is the last letter in Halak, and it has the meaning of the open palm of the hand. The hand would bend and curve from the shape of the palm, as well as to tame or subdue as one has been bent to another's will under their hand, as an open hand symbolizes submission. This also can picture for us a palm branch from the curved palm shape. The hand also speaks of one's work. Putting it all together, we can get the meaning of behold, the staff in the palm. The idea here is that of a shepherd protecting his sheep. A shepherd would have a staff in his hand and provide proper support while walking, as well as have a weapon to defend against predators and thieves. We take note that it is Yahweh who is our shepherd, and if we walk close to him, it is he that provides protection from predators and thieves. As King David tells us, Yahweh is my shepherd, I do not lack. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He turns back my being. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. When I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread before me a table in the face of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Only goodness and loving commitment follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Yahweh to the length of days. Psalms 23, verses 1 through 6. With this in mind, we walk close to him who leads us to the green pastures, that is to say, feeding on his word. What this requires is humility on our part, so that we will never leave the sight of the shepherd. As Micah, or as he's commonly called, Micah tells us, he has declared to you, O man, what is good, and what does Yahweh require of you, but to do right, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your Elohim. Micah 6, verse 8. It is important that we listen to what the shepherd has to say and completely submit to his word and be under his authority under which we walk. The Hebrew word root word that is used here for humbly is sanah, Strong's number H6800, which means to be modest and humble. Oftentimes, in our westernized mindset, we feel things. For instance, we feel love. But in Hebrew thought, we don't feel, we show. In other words, humility isn't a feeling, it's an action. We show our humility in our walk with Yahweh. As the writer of what is commonly called John says, the one who says he stays in him ought himself also to walk, even as he walked. 1 John 2, verse 6. The Greek word for walk is peripateo. Strong's number G4043. It means to walk, behavior, to conduct oneself, to make one's way, to tread with the feet, to make one's life. So we are to behave as he behaved, to conduct our lives as he conducted his life. In other words, do what he did. In the context of what we're talking about, we are to be humble as he is humble. This is the greatest expression we can give to Yahweh, and that is to do what his son Yahushua did. That is to say, to love Yahweh as he loved Yahweh, and to love others as he loved others. And walking with Yahweh requires action. And that action is to be in complete line with Yahushua's walk, which is a walk of total obedience, as Yahushua obeyed his heavenly Father in fearing him. Humility and the fear of Yahweh go hand in hand, and they result in the same blessing as Shlomo teaches us. The reward of humility is the fear of Yahweh, riches and honor and life. Proverbs 22, verse 4. Humility acknowledges our absolute need for Yahweh to work thoroughly in our lives, day by day. Humility and the fear of Yahweh develop in us the ability to love the things Yahweh loves and to hate the things Yahweh hates. The fear of Yahweh is to hate evil. I have hated pride and arrogance and the evil way and the perverse mouth. Proverbs 8, verse 13. And these are the qualities of a man that finds favor in the eyes of Yahweh. And Noah found favor in the eyes of Yahweh because he saw the importance of walking with him. By comparison, his generation was wicked because they did not walk with Yahweh, and so their thoughts became twisted, and they began to do violence to one another. We too need to see the importance of how Yahweh sees things. If he hates something, we too should hate it, even at the cost of others leaving us in our lives, because many will love the things Yahweh hates and will be in opposition to him. We have a clear choice to make every day, and that is to walk in righteousness as we guard to do all the commands of Yahweh, or as some sadly choose, to cast aside the need to live according to the Torah, as Amos tells us. O you who are turning right ruling to wormwood, and have cast down righteousness to the earth. Amos 5, verse 7. For Israel had turned right ruling into wormwood, and had cast down righteousness to the earth. In other words, they made the word of Yahweh poison and threw it away. The Hebrew word for wormwood is la'anah, Strong's number H3939, which is described as a bitter substance, a very unpleasant substance to consume, which may make one sick. We know that the tree of life in Revelation is described as having leaves which are for the healing of the nations. In the middle of its streets, on either side of the river, was the tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit every month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Revelations 2, verses 22, verse 2. Wormwood can thus be viewed as the counterfeit leaves of the enemy that kills. But sadly, there are many who are eating away at this very bitter root, as Shlomo warns us. For the lips of a strange woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Proverbs 5, verses 3 through 4. This proverb is a warning against the false teaching of strange women who seek to lure people away from the truth. And what we must recognize here is that it says that her lips are sharp as a two-edged sword. This means that her words can certainly cut and do damage, and many fall for her sharp words as they sound as if they could be true. Yet they are simply poisoned wormwood that has twisted the truth in order to deceive. And the reason why so many are unable to discern her wormwood from the truth is because they have turned away from the Torah and are unable to rightly handle the word of truth as Paulus tells us to do. Do your utmost to present yourself approved to Elohim, a worker who does not need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth. 2 Timothy 2, verse 15. The word of Elohim is sharper than a two-edged sword. And therefore, in order to know which is sharper, you have to know the truth, or else the sharp wormwood will poison you. Jeremiah, or as he's commonly called, Jeremiah, warns us of the same thing when he prophesied. Yahweh says, because they have forsaken my Torah, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, nor walked according to do it. But they have walked according to the stubbornness of their own heart, and after Baals, which their fathers have taught them. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, see, I'm making this people eat wormwood, and I shall make them drink poisoned water. Jeremiah 9, verses 13 through 15. The message is clear. You forsake Yahweh's Torah, and you will eat wormwood. That is to say, one will become poisoned and twisted in their thinking because of the stubbornness of their hearts. To not walk in Torah is to abandon it. And if we don't walk in Torah, we don't love the truth. And in the end times, the people will once again be given this wormwood, as Paulus warns us. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power and signs and wonders of falsehood, and with all the deceit of unrighteousness of those perishing, because they did not receive the love of the truth in order for them to be saved. And for this reason, Elohim sends them a working of delusion, for them to believe the falsehood in order that they should be judged, who do not believe the truth, but have delighted in the unrighteousness. 2 Thessalonians 2, verses 9 through 12. Wormwood teaches that you do not have to walk with Yahweh, that is to say, guard the commands contained in the Torah. This is what the writer of what is commonly called John says. And by this we know that we know him, if we guard his command. The one who says, I know him, and does not guard his command, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. 1 John 2, verses 3 through 4. Those who claim that they know Yahweh and don't walk in his Torah are eating a twisted counterfeit, that they will easily cast down righteousness. An interesting thing to note here is that the Hebrew word that is translated as cast down in Amos 5:7 comes from the root verb nuach, Strong's number H5117, which means to rest, come to rest, cast down, set down, permit, from which we get the name Noah, or as he's commonly called, Noah, who was the righteous man who found favor in the eyes of Yahweh, a righteous and perfect man, and one who walked with Yahweh, doing all according to which he had commanded him. This is a powerful play on words, as we see here with the negative use of this word, for it can also mean abandon, depart from. So many have abandoned righteousness, believing that they have entered Elohim's rest, but they have no regard for his commands. We must remember that it is righteousness for us when we guard Yahweh's command. And it is righteousness for us when we guard to do all his command before Yahweh, our Elohim, as he has commanded us. Deuteronomy 6, verse 25. Noah was a righteous man who did not cast down righteousness, but preached it for 120 years to a people who had cast the word of Yahweh down and did not hear the call to walk in righteousness. So it is very clear. We either walk in righteousness as Noah did, or we cast it down because of the wormwood of false lies and traditions of man that have turned and twisted the right rulings of Yahweh into the poison of the strange woman. Noah responded correctly by being steadfast and faithful and obeying the voice of Yahweh, in direct contrast to what the world was doing by walking after their own puffed up and lustful ways that led to destruction. We too have the same opportunity as Noah did, and that is to respond correctly to what Yahweh has said and obey his voice regardless of what the world is doing today. You see, the world today is puffed up and lustful and will one day be destroyed. We have the choice to walk as both Noah and Yahushua did. And we have a choice to cast out wormwood in our lives and return to the right rulings of Yahweh. What we could say now is, thank you, Yahweh, for giving us that choice. And may we all make the right one and walk as Yeshua wants. Hallelujah. If you like this teaching, please comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And click on the notification button to be notified of the next teaching. Yahweh bless and shalom to your hopes.